Who was the first person to look in the mirror, see wrinkles or acne scars, and say, you know what would fix this? Tiny needles. Because let's be real, microneedling sounds like a punishment. It sounds like something from a medieval torture chamber, not a luxury spa. But somehow, it became skincare royalty. So how did this actually begin? How did we go from fearing needles to paying to have them roll all over our faces? To find the answer, we're going back thousands of years. In ancient cultures, especially in China and parts of the Middle East, people practiced forms of skin puncturing for healing. But here's the key difference. It wasn't for a youthful glow. It wasn't for collagen, it was for medicine. The core belief was that a controlled injury could stimulate the body's natural recovery process, which, honestly, is a wild concept for its time. But also kind of genius. They were onto something huge without even realizing it. Now let's fast forward to the 1900s. Dermatologists started to get curious. They began experimenting with controlled skin injury as a way to treat scars, specifically post-surgical and acne scars. The idea was surprisingly simple. When you injure the skin just enough, your body freaks out a little bit and goes into full-on repair mode. And what's the number one tool in your body's repair kit? Collagen. Your body floods the area with new collagen, and that new collagen means smoother, firmer, and more even-toned skin. But here's where the story gets really interesting and starts to look familiar. In the 1990s, a South African plastic surgeon named Dr. Desmond Fernandes started using a small rolling device covered in fine needles to treat his patients' wrinkles and scarring. He didn't call it microneedling at first. He called it collagen induction therapy. That little roller he developed? That's the direct ancestor, the grandfather of the modern microneedling pen your esthetician uses today. But at first, people thought it was completely insane. You telling me that we're supposed to pay money to have someone stab our faces with tiny needles? On purpose? The answer was yes. And the reason people eventually got on board was because it worked. It worked remarkably well. When the skin receives these thousands of tiny, controlled micro-injuries, it responds by producing a fresh wave of collagen and elastin, the very proteins that keep our skin firm, plump, and smooth when we're younger. And here's the crucial twist that makes it all work. Microneedling isn't really about damage. It's about controlled healing. Too much injury? That leads to scarring and problems. But tiny, strategic, microscopic injuries? That triggers a glow-up. That's the science behind the magic. Then came the 2010s, and the skincare industry exploded. Cosmetic companies got involved, and the technology started advancing rapidly. Sleek, powerful pens began to replace the clunky old rollers. And then we started adding things to it. We added hydrating serums. We added platelet-rich plasma, or PRP, famously known as the vampire facial. We combined it with lasers. Suddenly, microneedling wasn't just a treatment. It became a massive, multi-billion-dollar industry. It went from an ancient healing practice to a viral Instagram skincare flex. Today, it's one of the most requested cosmetic treatments in the entire world. But the psychology of this is what's truly fascinating. Humans have always had this deep-seated belief in transformation through discomfort. Just think about it for a second. When you work out, you are literally tearing your muscle fibers to build strength. When you get a vaccine, you're introducing a controlled exposure to a pathogen to build immunity. Microneedling injures the skin to build collagen. It's the exact same pattern. Growth through controlled stress. So the next time someone tells you that microneedling sounds painful or crazy, you can tell them it's not random. It's ancient logic supercharged with modern tools. And if you enjoy learning how everyday treatments, foods, and even words secretly began, make sure you subscribe to Where It Began. Because history isn't just about empires and wars. Sometimes it's about figuring out why we willingly let someone poke our face thousands of times for better skin. And honestly, that side of history might be even crazier. Thanks for watching.